Welcome back. You're still watching Fut-Afrique, the heartbeat and the soul of African football. And yes, let me give you the answer to the trivia question. Well, I know the person that will give you the answer to the trivia question, rather. Remember, the trivia question was, how many CAF Under-17 AFCON titles has Senegal won? Yes, Auntie Diski is in the building. Our new Makoti. How are you doing?
Back like Mkolo, I'm great. Super excited to be starting the year off with a bang. And I'm happy to be here. How are you?
Oh man, I'm just so happy to see you. So now, you've got the answer to this trivia question for us, I believe. It's a new year. You have to know the answer to this question.
And I think this will still be everybody's favorite segment because we get to give them the answer. And the correct answer is once in 2023. So 2 years back.
All right, did you get the answer to that question? Don't lie, I'm sure you didn't know that. Now let's move on to that WAFCON that is going to be coming up this year, because this show is all about the events we can look forward to in the year 2025.
Yeah.
Can you break down more about that competition?
Definitely I can. And I think 2025 is a year that we need to be a little bit more informative, you know. And we use the word WAFCON, and there's probably somebody at home sitting and asking themselves, what is WAFCON? Because we're always used to the term AFCON when it comes to the men's side. Yes. But just to get people out of their misery, WAFCON is basically the Women's Africa Cup of Nations. For me, I think the timelines have just been set in a bit of a disruptive way for me. I think it's a little bit too congested. So we know we've got the qualifiers as well happening, and we've got the actual WAFCON that's happening. So I think it's putting a big and a huge weight and a load on the teams, the national teams, because we know that there's still domestic leagues that are going to be happening. You know, there's still going to be other tournaments
playing simultaneously.
Simultaneously. So having qualifiers and having such big tournaments in 1 year, I think really does, you know, dampen the enthusiasm of, you know, women's football in particular, you know. And I think maybe in future, just placing these timeframes in a better way to give people a little bit of legroom, because you end up seeing that some nations are actually missing prominent players due to the fact that they have to commit to their clubs due to injuries. And we know that, you know, transfer windows are not the same. Leagues are not the same across Africa. You know, we've got players who are playing, you know, big domestic tournaments in their respective clubs, yet they need to commit to their national duty. And you said injuries as well, schools as well, because there's a lot of players who are also in university. So trying to accommodate the academic calendar is also another bit of a challenge. So I am not too excited due to this, and I think we're going to be seeing probably results that we don't expect due to these factors.
Wow, very interesting. Any particular matches you're looking forward to?
Every time I answer this question, I always have to like take my L at the end. But definitely for me would be the new teams. You know, I'm always rooting for the underdogs, people that are really coming into the space for the first time. So any team definitely that hasn't been in the space is definitely getting my attention. And
definitely before we go today, I just wanted to ask you if you think that the African teams are ready to compete on the world stage this year, 2025. What are your expectations for the African teams out there?
Whew. Are they ready to compete? Definitely we are ready, but...
Yes, we don't want to see what we saw last year, for example, that France was demolishing Nigeria by God knows what the scoreline was.
I think there's a difference in being ready to compete or actually competing with a purpose, you know? Yes. Are we going to always be eliminated at group stages and that kind of thing, you know? So we don't want to just see ourselves there. We want to see ourselves making it all the way through. So I'm hoping that this is the year that brings us all the breakthroughs, even if it's one African nation that makes it all the way to the semifinals on big, you know, football tournaments. I'm in it for that.
But I believe the African teams are going to do really well this year, especially in the World Cup, because of the process, the long, grueling process it takes to qualify from the Nations Cup. What do you think?
I definitely do think so. Listen, I think we are packaged very well as African teams. And I think given the investment that's been put in for the past couple of years in women's football, we are doing the best that we can. I think also just all the powers basically need to come into play. And if I have to make an example with Morocco, basically what Morocco is doing for women's football is the reason why they are hosting, is the reason why, the performance that they gave us at the FIFA World Cup, you know what I'm saying? So I believe that African countries are packaged. We just need to all basically invest in them.
We're looking forward to a great year for women's football on the continent, and we just can't wait to see how well they're going to perform this year.